Ali, your favorite CEO, coach, and strategist. And I am in the house, literally in the house, well, literally in the car in Brooklyn. Respectfully, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Let me know where you're from as you're popping in. And this is for my folks out there that have been playing half in, half out, who've been teetering on your moves for the year. I know we are in February now, and I know a lot's happening around us. But my question to you is, are you playing bold? Are you showing up unapologetically imperfect? And the reason why I'm going to keep speaking about this, reason I'm going to keep help you navigate through this space, is because when you got folks that are making decisions that are outside of you, and when we are being nervous in terms of how we want to show up as ourselves, then we got to stop and ask ourselves, why aren't we doing the bold moves? Why aren't we showing up unapologetically ourselves? And usually it stems back to our own comfort with ourselves, our own confidence in ourselves. So here's what happens, which I believe happens. And this is coming from my experience as a professional audiologist, speech language pathologist. I'm an autism mom. So my son is always saying, oops, I'm sorry. You know, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. I've done so much within the last 10 to 15 years and more. And through the process, what I've noticed with dealing with my clients are that we don't own our past, right? We don't sit into our past and understand how we were raised in a world or in a society where things had to be perfect, where we had to walk a certain way, where we had, if we go to school, we're supposed to sit down, we're supposed to raise our hands in order to ask questions. We got to do a whole bunch of conformity in terms of rules, right? As a child, you were given rules. If we don't follow the rules, then all of a sudden we're naughty. We're seen as, disrespectful. We're seen as the worst of the worst. So after a while, you get taught that if you follow all these conformities with rules, and of course there's house rules, there's home rules, there's society rules, there's community rules, and I'm not knocking the rules because the rules are what creates order. But in that space of creating order, it tends to help us lose our individuality, what makes us unique, what makes us ourselves. So when your parent, or when my parent is busy telling me, go to school and do what everyone else does, because if I do what everyone else does, then I'll get a good grade, right? If I sit down and I listen to the teacher, and of course I'm respectful to the teacher, and we're all sitting down at the same time, and then we raise our hands. So these are the places where we're taught to do things perfectly. And if it's not perfect, then something's wrong with us, or we get in trouble. So when we're brought up in a space where perfection is the only way that we can survive, and if we're not perfect, right? If we're looking at TV and we see these certain things, or we're looking at magazines, hey, I see you popping in. Let me know where you're from. Respectfully, I'm from Brooklyn. As we're looking at all these things around us, we have this perfect thing of what we're supposed to be, this perfect face, this perfect person. We're supposed to show up perfect, we're supposed to speak perfect. Everything is supposed to be perfect. But then here comes the question: what happens when our true self shows up? What happens when your true self shows up? When you make mistakes, when things don't look exactly as it does for everyone else, how do you still show up boldly and unapologetically when life causes imperfections to happen? There's no such thing as people being perfect out there. So because of that, many of us then go into ourselves and we get quiet and we get shy, and or we may just get in trouble because we're like, all right, bump it. I'm just going to just break all the rules, right? We begin to either have chaos within us or within ourselves, or we begin to go into ourselves and try to be perfect. I know for me, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to try and be perfect. And if I'm perfect, then I'm not going to get in trouble. If I do all the things and do all those good school grades and I do the things that life is supposed to do, then I'm not going to get in trouble, right? I'm going to be perfect. A for Allie. A, everything's great. But what happens when life throws us the reality of not being perfect, right? I had a beautiful son, amazing 9 months, carried him for the full term, came out. You would think, in my head, perfect little boy. Later on was then diagnosed with autism. Not that that makes him imperfect, but it definitely changed the thoughts of what I thought a perfect world or perfect life looked like. And meanwhile, when this starts to happen, I'm thinking, well, something's wrong with me, something's wrong with him, something's wrong with the world. And I begin to throw blame on other people. In that space of throwing blame, in that space of losing my own self, because that's what happens, I lose myself in this desire to be perfect. I then get shy, or then I don't want to share, or I'm nervous to speak, or even go live, or share my information, or share what makes me who I am. And in that space, I lose my ability to show up fully as myself. When they say not like us, it means that we're busy comparing. There's this comparison space. And yes, it's okay. It's okay to be not like everyone else. It's okay to be yourself in this space. It's okay to observe the differences. It's okay to show up bold and unapologetically you in whatever you do, right? The key is to do it with love, to do it with the ability of compassion, to understand that everyone is different, to understand that your difference and my difference doesn't make my difference a whole lot better than your different, right? And that's the space of where we're coming in now, is how can you show up boldly, unapologetically yourself, with still having compassion for the differences in the world. And I think that is the problem. We're busy saying, if you're not like me and I'm not like you, then something's wrong with you, or something's wrong with me, or you're saying something's wrong with me. And I'm at this space now in time where I want to own who I am. I'm going to show up as who I am. And I want you to show up as who you are, respectfully, of course. Respectfully, of course, because we still have to have some respect in the game. I still got to respect your differences. You got to respect mine. And by respect, that means I'm not trying to put you down. I'm not trying to make myself superior to you, or you not make yourself superior to me. But we just understand that differences have to happen. When we have relationships, when we speak with any type of relationships, you're dealing with another person, whether it's an intimate relationship or a professional relationship, or just a relationship based on, a client versus a teacher student, or a client and a mentor. The space is, or a coach, the space is owning who you are in the space of all of this, owning how you want to show up in the space of all of this, owning that respect can still happen no matter what the level, and learning how to converse and have conversations and dialect respectfully, while still respecting individuality and uniqueness, and differences of thoughts and differences of opinion, and not making it seem that there's only one way that is perfect. There's not one way that's perfect. We're human beings. We're individuals with different thoughts and different concepts and different ways we were brought up in life, right? So here's our time now to show up respectfully, to show up unapologetically, to show up bold, and to show up in whatever space that you feel that you were created to show up. But you know what? Take this time out to really tap into you. Take this time out to really figure out how you want to be seen in this world, or how do you want to be viewed in this world. Do it with compassion, do it with respect. You don't got to put people down just to make yourself be bigger or better from everyone else. Hey, mama, it's good to see you. I'm doing a quick peek in. I'm doing my lunch live on YouTube, because this is the space. This is my new space of where I'm spending some more time in, and just having conversations and letting people, reminding people how to, using my own uniqueness, using my own gifts in terms of helping you out there, because I do believe we all have answers for each other if we would take the time out to listen, right? If we take the time out to listen respectfully, of course, right? And that's the key, respectfully, of course. So that's my little lunch message for you guys. If you guys know that you want to tag along with me, you want to hear more of my messages, please make sure you do a click and follow. Make sure you're subscribed. If you have questions, of course, ask your questions. I'm always open to it. And I'm always, I'll give you my truth. Once we can be respectfully, right? Once we can stay respectfully. All right, y'all. Have a great and amazing day. Bye.